This is the most custom, most awesome gaming PC which I have showcased on this channel, blending everyone's favorite ninja anime Naruto with ASUS and AMD. This is the PC to look at for many years to come. Okay, so what powerful parts do we have for this PC build? There are so many, so I'm going to divide into three main groups. So let's start off with the main PC parts. The first mega star of the build, the ROG RTX 5090 OC, which is powered by the ROG Thor 1600 watt titanium and everything else that I am going to show you. For storage, this is a new Crucial T705 Gen 5 NVMe 2TB, and it's the only storage device for this PC. Next, for memory, these are 48 gigs of GSQ Trident Z5 Royal Neos, rated at 8000 MHz CL40. Both the storage and memory will go into the ROG Crosshair X870E Hero with the CPU that is coming right up, being cooled by the Ryzen 3 360 ARGB. The PC case of choice has its own GPU brace, but the customer wants to bring it further with the HerculeX graphics card holder. So the second star of the show is this 9950X3D, 16 cores and 32 threads, the most powerful gaming CPU. And to end this first part, all of these super PC parts will go into the ASUS ROG Hyperion GR701. Next up, we have the fans and accessories. From the left, these are single packs of Lianli Unifan SL Infinity 140s. These are 5 140mm reverse blade fans, but you will see later how many of them I am going to use. Next, we are going to swap out the fans on the Ryzen 3 with this set of SL Infinity 120 fans. There are also two Lianli streamers here, namely the Streamer Plus V2 for both the 12-foot high power as well as the 24-pin for the motherboard. The customer also got an ARGB splitter just in case we will need to use it for the stuff, which I will show you in a short while. And its bag of double-sided round stickers are also essential for them. We also got two NZXT internal USB hubs that we may not use, and we finished this part with a contact frame for the CPU and special thermal paste, both of which come from Thermal Grizzly. The thermal paste comes in a nice bottle and even has its own spatulas. Wow! And finally, we finish with this custom Naruto artwork panels. So what's the purpose of the ARGB splitter and the double-sided stickers? They are for this custom Naruto artwork panels. These panels has its own 5V ARGB wire each, so the acrylic will light up with rainbow when they are plugged in. The ARGB splitter may come in handy here if there's not enough ARGB headers. And we will use these round double-sided stickers to paste the panels onto the case. Okay, so let's turn back time and go on with the PC build. So let's first begin with the CPU, the 9950X3D. If you wanted something more powerful than the 9800X3D for both gaming and productivity, this is the CPU to go for in 2025. And this CPU will go into the ASUS ROG Strix X870E Hero. This is a pretty cool board, so let's do a mini unboxing. These crosshair boards tend to have many layers and compartments which you will have to remove. The motherboard is seated nicely in its own cardboard, which I will set aside first. Next, there are the usual documentations such as stickers, the ASUS web storage link, and a nice colored quick start guide. There's also a secret code to join the ROG community, which I think is probably used to get exclusive first-hand look at next-gen ROG stuff. Beneath all of this, ASUS gives you a quick connector for the front I/O, a few M.2 lockers, the Wi-Fi 7 antenna, and SATA cables. And what is this? An ASUS bottle opener? And I believe this box contains the custom ROG USB drive. I'm not sure if this USB stick contains the drivers for the motherboard, but anyway, it is always better to download the latest drivers from the motherboard's website. And as for the board, it is a standard mix of black and white and grey. There's a variety of front I/O connectors, fan headers, and USB ports. I also appreciate the power and restart buttons to test this board on an open bench, as well as the Q Diagnostic Code LED for deeper board testing. And I believe this is the first mainstream board from ASUS to feature two front Type-C connectors. This is very useful because the case has two front I/O ports. There's also quite a few USB ports at the back, and this board also comes with nice M.2 heatsinks. To install the CPU, press down the retention lever and lift off the socket lid. Align the CPU with the socket and slowly drop onto the pins. Close the CPU lid and press down the retention lever into place. the socket cover will pop out and your CPU is installed. Okay, next up, let's introduce our first bling item, the pair of Trident Z Royals. It is so bling that it even has its own microfiber cloth. Look at how shiny this pair of RAM are. I personally prefer the gold pieces to this silver, but I gotta agree, these silver sticks tend to fit the entire build better than the gold ones. I will use the standard 2 RAM slots for this pair of RAM. DDR5 RAM sticks tend to require more effort to install than DDR4, so don't worry about using more pressure to push the RAM sticks into the slots. It is also easy to install the 2TB Crucial Gen 5 NVMe SSD. Press the button to release the top M.2 heatsink. Remove the thermal pad film and slide the SSD into the slot and press down and you will feel a click. Do the same also for the M.2 heatsink. Okay, now that the motherboard is prepared, let's move on to the big guy. It is such a big case that you can't even see me from the front. There's a nice box which contains all of the screws and accessories, as well as a medicine-style container to separate the various screws. And the best way to get this big guy out, flip it over and pull the box away from the top. And time for the big review. It is a custom Naruto Hyperion. Yes, it's painted red and features custom artwork on the main and back panels. There's more artwork on the back panel and all around, so let's take some time to appreciate this case. Okay, let's get building. Begin by removing the front and back panel as well as the top panel. You also need to remove the plastic cover from behind the back cover. You also have to remove this PSU shroud to access the power supply area. To do so, remove the 3 thumb screws at the back, slide the main cover back, pull down the tab, and you can access the other screws at the front. Then you can pull the shroud towards you and away from you. Watch me struggle as I try to install this heavy motherboard vertically with one hand while trying to screw in the center screw with the other hand. The RG4 has a nice display which we will make use of. Unfortunately, because of that, I will have to install the PSU fan side up. Not really ideal, but I don't have a choice if I want to make use of this LED display. There's also a good amount of room at the PSU area, so I'm not going to install the cables first because I want to see how I can manage the cables later. Next, I plug in the 8-pin EPS for the CPU and the 24-pin power cables for the motherboard. I had to redo the combs so that the power supply cables will look better in this build. Okay, next, I'm going to swap out the case exhaust fan for the first Lianli 140mm fan. We install the fan brace cover over the Lianli and reinstall the fan into the Hyperion. At this juncture, I'm also going to plug in some of the front I/O, such as the front audio as well as one Type-C connector. Okay, the next set of fans are for the front intake. Like the exhaust fan, you will need to remove the shroud from the stock fans first. Next, daisy chain 3 140mm fans and install the power/ARGB connector onto the fans. I didn't show it, but I had to switch the orientation of the cables to fit into the case. And you finish it by reinstalling the shroud over the 3 fans and reinstalling the fans into the Hyperion. Okay, time for the Ryujin 3. It was a bit of a challenge to remove both protection caps from the radiator, but I did it in the end. When done, install the 3 120mm Lianli fans onto the radiator and install the radiator top down into the Hyperion. And before we install the water block, we are going to add the Thermal Grizzly contact frame. First, you will have to remove the socket retention piece from the motherboard. Next, put in the rubber piece as well as the actual contact frame over the CPU and screw down the contact frame. Apply the special thermal paste like butter. Remove the socket mounting clips if you haven't and install the Ryujin water blocks mounting adapters over them. And when you're done, you can finally install the water block over it and screw it down with the thumb screws. And finish it by putting back the top cover. There are some final things to do, such as applying the Naruto panels onto the case and wiring them up with the ARGB panel at the back. It would also be nice to tie up the 12V high power cables to the AIO tubes for a cleaner look. And of course, the obligatory final peel. This PC is so powerful, I think we need something more than the summoning jutsu. I actually wanted to use the Naruto theme for the montage, but I am very sure I will get a copyright issue with this video. Building in this case was, I can say, almost simple because of the amount of room as well as the almost toolless design. That said, there were a few things, however. It took me a while to figure out how to remove the exhaust fan because there's actually a correct way to remove the exhaust fan. You'll need to find the correct angle to remove the hook and pull the fan out from the case. Likewise, I also took a while to remove the front intake bracket. It was easier than the exhaust, but likewise, you will have to find the correct angle. 3. Both the exhaust fan and the fan bracket area would probably be more used than the other parts of the case because I had to remove and reinstall a few times due to 1. I had to change the orientation of the fan connectors. 2. There were a few back and forth decisions if we wanted to use the Lianli streamers, which included using the fan hubs to control the fans. We didn't use both streamers in the end, so I had to change the connectors to the stock ones and control the ARGB using the ARGB panel in the case. 4. Kind of a waste here. You will not be able to see the infinity mirrors on the Lianli fans. The bracket and shrouds just block all of the nice infinity mirrors. Not sure what's the point of the infinity mirror fans in this case. Anyway, if you wanted to get something like this, I have included a price guide for all the PC parts as well as a rough estimate for the entire PC combined. Or the other way is, you can contact us at Typhoon Systems and we can build something like this for you. Alright, I had a lot of fun building this PC and I also hope that you had a lot of fun watching me build this PC. While I don't have any official benchmarks for a 9950X 3D and a 5090 combined, you can still watch my review of the ASUS ROG Astral RTX 5090 OC. Like if you like this video and catch you in the next video.